Hello YouTube, it's Rom from Ramen Noodles TCG, and today I have a Punk deck profile for you for Genesys format. So I just got back from YCS Pittsburgh, and although I didn't do particularly well, I do feel like my Punk list is very good, so I will be profiling my first place list from last week's locals, and that's the same list that I got top 4 at the Brainwash Cards tournament as well. So, starting off with the level 8 punks, we are playing 3 copies of Rising Scale, 3 copies of Foxy Tune, and 3 copies of Ogre Dance. Now, Rising Scale is a new card out of Monstrous Mayhem. This card is an incredibly broken extender that not only raises the ceiling of the deck, but helps the deck's grind game and helps you play through interaction. So the fact that Rising Scale has to banish a Punk card from hand or graveyard means that Xiamen is no longer the strongest starter, because the strongest extender, Rising Scale, requires you to have something in grave. So that makes the other level 8s a bit stronger. So Ogre Dance, being just a simple searcher for your low-level punks, actually makes it a stronger starter than Xiamen in terms of ceiling. It is more susceptible to draw, but we still obviously do play 3 to maximize consistency. Foxy Tune is the deck's actual best starter. It's also an extender, but summoning Xiamen off of this is like the main combo line. That's why they put it to 5 points, because it is a starter that doesn't take your normal summon, which is incredible. Moving on to the level 3s, we are playing, obviously, 3 copies of Xiamen. We are playing the 1 Madam Spider, the 1 Wagon, and the 1 Shirakusai. So Xiamen is the primary normal summon of the deck, being able to search a Punk monster by paying 600 life points. This is actually the only in-archetype way to search Rising Scale. So if you don't have Rising Scale in your starting hand, that's basically what you're going to be grabbing off of Xiamen most of the time, unless you cannot actually activate the Rising Scale, so in which case you do the normal line where you grab Foxy Tune off of this. We're playing 1 Shirakusai. This card is important for the combo. You pay 600 life points to fuse, and the fusion is a big combo enabler. Yeah, you don't need more than 1. It's also part of the end board, because you can pay 600 life points as a quick effect in any phase of your opponent's turn. This matters a lot. To synchro summon a Punk synchro monster, you can make Amazing Dragon on your opponent's turn to bounce your opponent's whole board. Very, very good stuff. Wagon is the spell searcher. Obviously, there's a bunch of Punk spells. Most of them suck. But the only good one is Jam Extreme Session. Extreme Session is a powerful extender, allowing you to summon a Punk from hand, and it also draws 2 cards over the course of your combo. Wagon also has another effect where it gives you a draw if your Punk monster is targeted by a card effect or an attack. Summoning Wagon into your opponent's board with something like a Foxy Tune, if you already have Xiamen in hand, can help you push through a board, because it disincentivizes your opponent from trying to interact with you, because you're going to get some resources back if your opponent tries to stop this. And yeah, giving you access to your Extreme Session further helps you push through the board, because you don't have to spend your normal summon on things. You can Extreme Session it out. Yeah. Madam Spider searches traps. We are playing the 1 copy of Dangerous Gabu as the search target for this. You can also play Nashiwari Surprise. That was in my side deck for a while, but before YCS Pittsburgh, I actually just couldn't find my copy of Nashiwari Surprise. Yeah, Dangerous Gabu is like the main trap. Just being a proper monster negate that gains you life is really important. All of our combos go through a lot of life points, so having the ability to heal some off with the Gabu is very important. Obviously, you side out Madam Spider and Dangerous Gabu going second. For the last of the Punk monsters, we are playing 2 copies of the level 5 Punk Deer Note. Deer Note is an incredible card. It's sort of a brick, but the reason I'm playing 2 is not only for the grind game, but in scenarios where you open a lot of Punk names, especially the level 3s, plus something like an Ogre Dance, you can Ogre Dance search Deer Note, and then Deer Note summon one of the level 3s from hand, because it either summons itself from the hand or one of the level 3s. Usually you're summoning the level 3s because Deer Note can only be summoned once per turn, but it's very valuable because this is one of the ways that helps you play around stuff like Nibiru, because if you have Ogre Dance, or if you have Deer Note on field, your opponent tries to nib you, then you can resolve Deer Note to revive one of your punks. So if you can set up a monster negate before activating Deer Note in graveyard, it's really good. So yeah, Deer Note, good card. Because we're playing pure Punk, I wanted some more starters to increase the consistency of the deck. Something like Gold Pride Punk has a lot of extenders, but less starters. And that's the one benefit of playing Gold Pride Punk, is the extra extenders mean you don't have to pay 35 points for Emergency Teleport alongside your 3 copies of Mind Procedure. Now, Mind Procedure is an incredible starter just by paying 2,000 life points to grab yourself a Teleport Quick Play spell. Just being able to search E-Tele like this is incredible. Mind Procedure is just full combo on its own. And yeah, the 2,000 life point cost does matter a fair bit. You get down to dangerously low life totals, sometimes like 1,500 or 800 life points, something like that. It's very dangerous, but you do have multiple ways of healing yourself, so you should be fine. If you don't play E-Tele, Mind Procedure gets a lot worse. It sucks that it's 35 points, but I still think it's very important for this strategy. For the other Teleport Quick Play spell, we are playing Teleport Fusion. Teleport Fusion is a fusion spell that you will set from your deck during the combo that can summon your powerful psychic fusions by banishing your psychic monsters from the graveyard or field. And if a psychic extra deck monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, you banish the Teleport Fusion to special summon a psychic that is banished. So in order to get to your Teleport Fusion, we are playing the 1 copy of Hushed Psychic Minister. This is the level 3 extender that you search off of Jam Dragon Drive if you start with Xiamen or another one of your Punk starters to make your level 6 synchro. To add more consistency to this deck, I am opting to play 3 copies of Small World. Now, Small World is incredible in Punk. All of the level 3 Punks have 600 defense, and all of the level 8 Punks have different attributes and different types, so they all bridge into each other very well. This helps you find your starters like Foxy Tune and extenders like Rising Scale. Rising Scale is the hardest to search, so I am opting to play an auxiliary Small World bridge in the form of Alpha Master of Beasts. This is a level 8 Earth Beast that has really huge stats and is just an okay board breaker in the format. Unfortunately, you're not able to side this out going first because of Small Worlds. That's the one downside of playing it like this. Just because you want to have access to your Rising Scale. I've looked into other Small World bridges, but they just aren't as good. Speaking of board breakers, I am playing 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. This is one of the best board breakers in the format, and P.U.N.K is the kind of deck that doesn't need to kill your opponent. You can crack your opponent's board and then set up in their face. And for the last 9 cards in the deck, I paid 29 points for a hand trap lineup. So I playing 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 1 copy of Nibiru, 2 copies of Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit, 1 copy of Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, and 2 copies of DD Crow. So the reason I went with this hand trap lineup is because Droll is one of the best hand traps in the format. It's good against most decks. Yeah, you just kind of have to play Droll in this format. It's too good not to play. It hurts both combo and control decks. Like, even control decks like Apophis get hurt by Droll. The reason I'm only playing 1 Nib is because it is only good against combo decks. But you can Droll stuff like Runic Radiant Typhoon and Apophis, where you can't really Nib something like Apophis. So, yeah, just 1 Nib, because I can't afford any more. I'm only playing 2 Crow because, although it's free, it doesn't do a whole lot in every matchup, but it's pretty good in most matchups. So I'm playing Crow. Ogre is really strong in this format. You can Ogre Apophis. You can Ogre a lot of different decks, really. It's very strong. It's not too good against Onomat, unfortunately, which is a little bit awkward. I'm going just for Mourner as the 9th hand trap, just for extra coverage. So yeah, that is a 41 card main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, I am playing the 1 copy of Rising Carp, the 1 copy of Dragon Drive, 2 Amazing Dragon, and 2 Jam Fever. So Rising Carp is an important combo piece. This is why your ceiling is so high. You just get to summon 2 guys from deck. Very strong card. This card also has an extra effect where if it's used as Synchro material, you can get one of your punks to attack twice. This can help you OTK when you otherwise wouldn't be able to. You revive this off of Deer Note and then attack twice with a level 11 Synchro or Jam Fever. The reason we're playing 2 Amazing Dragon is because the effect to revive comes up a lot going first. It helps you play through hand traps because Jam Fever is a broken card. Being able to slap this on top of any P.U.N.K extra deck monster to have a negate helps you beat Nibiru. So a lot of times you're going to be making Amazing Dragon going first, reviving something, and then Xyz summoning Jam Fever to give yourself some insulation from hand traps. Yeah, Jam Fever is broken. We're not actually using the second one a lot of the time. Honestly, the second Jam Fever was Cicada King up until the points adjustments. Honestly, I'm not sure what else to put in this slot. There's not really a whole lot else I could be playing. If you have suggestions for what the second Jam Fever should be, let me know down in the comments. Obviously, the 1 Jam Dragon Drive, this is an incredible combo piece. You make this with your 3 and a Deer Note, and you're able to search a level 3 Psychic. This can search Ghost Ogre, which is pretty cool. It also searches Hush Psychic Minister or Madam Spider. Those are like the main 3 things you're searching with this. Yeah, you don't need more than 1, because you only go through 1. The other effect is really interesting because it can help you steal games when you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Because when your opponent responds to one of your P.U.N.K effects, you can revive it from the graveyard, and then it triggers its own effect, so you get another search. So if your opponent tries to stop you from negating with Jam Fever, or for some reason doesn't negate your things on summon on in a turn 3 situation, you can come back into the game really nicely. So the other synchros that are important for the combo are these 2. I am playing Serene Psychic Sorceress and Psychic Blaster Mark II. So Serene Psychic Sorceress is how you set your teleport fusion. Yeah, it just pays 1,000 to set. It can help you crack boards by synchroing it off for Psychic Blaster Mark II. This card is a combo piece going first because you can revive one of your banished monsters. Whatever you banish off of something like Rising Scale or Extreme Session can just be brought back to use as material. And it's also an interruption that gains you life points. Yeah, so in the lines where you go for, where you start with a P.U.N.K starter, you grab Hushed Psychic Minister, ladder up into Serene Psychic Sorceress, and then Psychic Blaster Mark II. For the other synchros, I am playing Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, a very strong card. One of the best generic free 8s in the format. I am playing Genesys, the Cursed Thunder God, a very powerful end board piece that also gives you life points, and I spent 20 points on Psychic End Punisher. This is the big boss that helps you OTK, and sometimes just kind of cheats wins because your opponent doesn't have an out to it. For the teleport fusion targets, we have Absolute Axon Kicker and Axon Kicker Oracle. Absolute Axon Kicker is the main one. You pay 2K for board wipe, and it floats. Axon Kicker Oracle is a summon negation, and it also floats. Very good stuff. We have Dingirsu and Juju. So Dingirsu is arguably not a flex slot. It's non-targeting, non-destruction removal that also protects your cards. This is important for matchups like Radiant Typhoon and just beating breakers like Darkhole. Teleport Fusion is main phase only, so your opponent will try to MST your set Teleport Fusion in the draw phase, so you can use Dingirsu to protect it to ensure that it resolves. Juju is a free psychic level 6 synchro that is kind of annoying to deal with. It's non-destruction removal, and it has protection. Juju is technically a flex slot, but Dingirsu is mandatory, I believe. Moving on to the side deck, we have some cards for going first. So for the going first traps, we have Draco Tail Flame and Mind Over Matter. Draco Tail Flame is a generic spell negate that any deck in this format should be considering side decking. Mind Over Matter is a counter trap. It's a Solemn Judgment side grade that tributes a psychic monster. Mind Over Matter is a really, really good card. Judgment costs too much points, but Mind Over Matter is free, which is great. Yeah, this is pretty nice for this deck. The traps are really good because you can draw into them off of Extreme Session. We are playing some backer removal in 3 copies of Twin Twisters and 1 MST. So I didn't want to play Cosmic Cyclone in this deck because it costs 1,000 life points. I guess you could try Cosmic Cyclone because going second, you're not going to be resolving your entire combo. You're going to be like resolving most of your combo and like cracking a board. So you can probably afford the 1,000 life point cost. I'm just overly cautious about that kind of stuff, so I'm playing MST. Twin Twisters is mass backer removal. You get to snipe multiple cards. Yeah. If your opponent tries to negate your Twin Twisters with something like Draco Tail Flame or Radiant Typhoon Mandate, you can MST your own Twin Twisters, which is Galaxy Brain Giga Chad stuff. So for more going second cards, we have Kaijus. For the Kaiju lineup, I am playing 2 copies of Godarla and 2 copies of Kamungus. I'm playing these Kaijus for small world reasons. Kamungus is a level 7 Earth monster with 2,400 attack. This means that it bridges into all of your Earths and Rising Scale. Very, very good. Godarla is a level 8 Wind, which means that it bridges with Droll and all of your level 8s. That's why I'm playing these Kaijus. So I was originally only playing 1 Godarla, and I was playing a second copy of Alpha in the side deck. But because of Lunalight, Onomat, and just a lot of other matchups that Alpha isn't as effective against, I decided to up the Kaiju count. It's really important to play, I think, multiple level 8s because we are a synchro deck that makes a lot of level 11s, so you can use the level 8 Godarla as synchro material if you draw multiple kaiju. For some more board breakers, I am playing Lightning Vortex. Lightning Vortex is free, so we're playing it. We can't afford the 3 points for Dark Hole. If you really want to play Dark Hole, you can use something like, you can cut an Ogre or a Mourner, go down to 40 cards, and then play Dark Hole instead. And for the last slot, we're playing DD Crow. DD Crow is really good in a few matchups, so we want the ability to have the third to side in. Let's take a look at some combos. Okay, so we're going to do a quick combo here, starting with normal Xiamen. So if you have Xiamen plus nothing else, you have to go Xiamen, pay 6 to add Foxy Tune. You can't grab Rising Scale here because you have nothing to banish, right? So we're going to grab Foxy Tune. We're going to go Foxy Tune effects to summon from deck. Going to grab Shirakusai here. So if the opponent drops something like a Mourner here, then you'd be in trouble unless you have a rank 3. There's really no good rank 3s here that you can play, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go Shirakusai. Shirakusai for Rising Carp. So Rising Carp is the big choke point here. We're not going to Xiamen here because we can do that later. So Rising Carp is the big choke point. If your opponent has like a Mourner or something, this is what they want to go for. Yeah, so we're going to Rising Carp here. Summoning from the deck a copy of Wagon and Deer Note. So Wagon and Deer Note, we're going to Wagon search Extreme Session. This is what's going to get our draws going here. So we're going to go Extreme Session. So the combos change depending on what you draw, but this still remains the same. So we're going to go for Jam Dragon Drive. We're going to use Deer Note as Chainlink 1. Reviving, in this case, we're going to revive... Let's revive Rising Carp here. And we're going to go Jam Dragon Drive Search as Chainlink 2. The reason we want the Search as Chainlink 2 is to play around Skullmeister. So for this combo, because I'm showing like the basic P.U.N.K line with none of the Psychic cards, I'm going to grab Madam Spider here. Obviously, if you draw like more extenders, you can play those cards. But this is like the basic no frills, no fixins line here. So we're going to summon Jam Fever here using the Rising Carp. We're going to Extreme Session, banishing Foxy Tune. For Madam Spider, we're going to Madam Spider search the trap. And we're going to draw off of Extreme Session. We're going to make Juration here. So obviously, if we drew more extenders, we can play this differently. Like, for example, if we have Rising Scale here, we can Rising Scale banish something like Xiamen, and then... Or Deer Note, I guess, because we play 2. We banish Deer Note, and then we bring back Shirakusai, and then we have an extra interruption. But this is like the bare bones end board with like the old line where you don't have access to Rising Scale. We have the Juration Wipe, we have the Jam Fever negate, and we have the Dangerous Gabu negate with the 5-card hand. Okay, so now we're going to go for the Ogre Dance line. Just to show this off here, we go Ogre Dance for Xiamen. Normal Xiamen effect. We're going to grab Rising Scale. So now we can use Rising Scale here. So we're going to go Rising Scale, banish Ogre Dance. Rising Scale effect. We're going to grab Shirakusai here. So this is Summon 3. So the way we did this, if our opponent Mourners here, they run the risk of us having another extender. So if the opponent Mourners here, we can actually just sync these off into Amazing Dragon, bring back Shirakusai, and then just laugh in our opponent's face. But, yeah, so we're going to Shirakusai. We're going to fuse these two off into Rising Carp. The reason we fuse these two is because of Mourner. So if our opponent Mourners or Veilers here, we can just pass here, and we still have the Shirakusai effects to synchro on our opponent's turn. So we're going to Rising Carp here, summoning Deer Note and Wagon. So keep in mind that this is summon 5, so if you have more extenders here, you can hold the Deer Note for later. To help you play around Nib, but we don't have that, obviously. So we're going to do this. Going to go for Extreme Session. All right, so now that we have a better hand, we can go for the Hushed Psychic Minister line. So we're going to go, once again, triggering Do You Notice Chainlink 1. This time we're going to revive Xiamen. Dragon Drive is Chainlink 2. Going to grab Hushed Psychic Minister. We're going to draw off of Extreme Session. Now we are going to Xyz summon Jam Fever here. Going to special the Hushed Psychic Minister. Going to go for Serene Psychic Sorceress. We're going to go Xiamen 1, adding Jam Fever. Going to go Serene Psychic Sorceress 2, setting Teleport Fusion. We're going to draw off of Extreme Session. Going to go for Psychic Blaster Mark II. And you can Psychic Blaster Mark II back the Ogre Dance to have follow-up on your next turn, because you can send this to search Xiamen. So yeah, on our opponent's turn, we have the Jam Fever negate, the Banish from Psychic Blaster Mark II, and we have Teleport Fusion for Absolute Axon Kicker. So keep in mind that if we had any other Punk monster in hand, let's say double Ogre Dance, we could have used a material in hand to keep a material on field. So this Ogre Dance could, instead of being an Ogre Dance for follow-up, it could have been an extra Synchro monster. Let's say the level 11 here. So yeah. Let's go for the Mind Procedure line. I'm going to go Mind Procedure Effects. Grab E-Telly. E-Telly for Xiamen. We're going to go Xiamen Search. Going to grab Rising Scale here. I'm going to go Serene Psychic Sorceress. We need to do this to get the Xiamen Engrave. So Mind Procedure treats itself as a non-tuner for this scenario. So yeah, that's how we can make this. If you get drolled here on the search of E-Telly, at this point, essentially, you just go for Serene Psychic Sorceress. You set teleport. You set Emergency Teleport instead of Teleport Fusion. Actually, I think you can still set Teleport Fusion here. You get the Summon Negate instead of the Pop. If we didn't have Ghost Ogre in hand, you could do that or E-Telly for the Ghost Ogre. But yeah, it's either the Negate or the Pop. But we didn't get drolled here, so we're going to Rising Scale. Rising Scale effects. Shirakusai. We're going to Shirakusai effects to fuse. Going for Rising Carp. Deer Note and Wagon. Stream session. Let's go for Jam, Drag, and Drive. Gonna go for 1 and 2. So in this situation, I believe we're going to be special summoning the Rising Scale here. Chaining this, obviously. Gonna grab Madam Spider. Search. Gonna draw. We're going to go Extreme Session here, banishing the Shirakusai. I guess we should have made the Jam Fever first to play around it, but yeah. Yep. Yeah, we do it like this. We get ourselves a search. Second draw. Go for Psychic Blaster Mark II. Going for Shirakusai here. So now, off of 1 Mind Procedure, we're going to be ending with 6 cards in hand. The Psychic Blaster Mark II Banish, the Jam Fever Negate, the Dangerous Gabu Negate, the Teleport Fusion Board Wipe, the Book from the Rising Scale, and the Bounce 4, I believe. Yeah, Bounce 4 from the Amazing Dragon. As we synchro into Amazing Dragon on our opponent's turn. So yeah, that is a pretty impressive combo line off of 1 card.